Welcome to our look at the first part of the season finale. Excuse my haste, but there's a lot to get through in this review.
Should we start with Danny?
Yeah, I guess we ought to, yeah. Mr. Pink is now an ex-teacher, but, rather than being fired for his public canoodling with Ms. Oswald, he's ended up being run over by the most mundane of objects, the motor car. What? I'm dead? But I thought I was the secret villain of this series. What was all that guff about Clara, by the way, being the last person to say she ever loved me? Did she know I was going to die and didn't tell me? What a cow.
No, I think she was just trying to show she had finally committed to him.
Great sense of timing, that girl. But I will say this. The way her grief was played out in those time skips made me half wonder if, Clara herself hadn't finally become unstuck in time.
Well, I thought it was a very effective way to show how numb her grief had made her.
Although she still seemed to be in the anger bargaining stage of dealing with grief by the time she came to deal with the doctor. Though that said, I really liked her angry, arrogant way of threatening him by going to throw away all his keys into a volcano.
It made me wish it wasn't an illusion, actually, for moments, although, truth be told, I did wonder if she was going to be revealed as the villain of the season at that point.
I'm still trying to find out if there's any significance to the number of the keys. 7 of them. The 7 keys to TARDIS. Ooh, that sounds like a terrible fan video. Nothing significant, probably. I mean, there wasn't anything about them on those post-it notes. So, if they're not on the post-it notes, the number can't have been important at all.
Yes, what were those post-it notes all about? Was it just a way of jogging the viewer's memories of the event of the season, or a subtle clue that how everything hangs together and only Clara has seen it?
You know what, me girl? Your guess is as good as mine right now. Now, after Clara's betrayal and another superb Capaldi moment, we found ourselves where no TARDIS has gone before. The afterlife. Excuse me, but what does God want with the TARDIS?
Leave over, Danny. 3W was a creepy place, even before we saw the skeletons in the water and watched Minnie the Bot snog the Doctor.
Oh, don't remind me about that bit. Ugh. Also, those 2 little circle symbols. I was racking my brains to try and work out their significance until the reveal. Even though I knew, thanks to the BBC spoiler department, that the Cybermen were in this one, I hadn't realised just what they were. Nice. Now that's the kind of surprise I like.
A less pleasant surprise was courtesy of the creepy and a bit wet.
Oh, come on, that's unfair. He was a good actor.
Oh, yes, but his character was wet. Dr. Chang. It was his 3 little words he revealed. Don't cremate me.
Oh. I guess if you'd been buried, it would have been, hey, who turned out the light? If Moffat wanted to give us all a throwback. But yeah, Clara, you're right. Creepy. The idea that the Doctor is now literally dealing with matters of life and death really takes the narrative of the show where I never expected them to go.
And last not to mention that Steve Jobs reference. I was chuckling when Seb said that, although you can bet the BBC will get some complaints.
But what about me? Well, the Doctor and Clara get all the juicy exposition. Poor old Danny is finally dealing with his child-shooting PTSD. The idea that you get to meet up with someone you've wronged after death would enough to give anyone the collywobbles.
But at least you had Chris Addison's unctuous and officious Seb to help you through your post-death trauma. He was a much-needed chunk of black humour throughout an adventure that will have left more than one parent, I suspect, dealing with a damp set of bedsheets.
Yeah, not to mention some awkward questions from any young Johnny or Jennies who've just been to Granny's funeral service. Congratulations, Doctor Who. I really didn't think you'd be getting the kids of the world to ask existential questions after a Saturday evening prime-time show.
Too right, Doctor. Now, let's talk about the Cybermen.
Oh, yes, let's.
Did you guess it was them in the dark water?
I confess I did. Ahead of the narrative clues, but it didn't make any of the reveal any less scary. Another plus point, I guess, to the storytelling. Even with the monster semi-spoiled, they weren't less scary. And it's been a long time since the Cybermen have been really scary.
Well, I like the visual callbacks to Tomb of the Cybermen and Invasion, especially for the old-timers.
Who are you looking at?
you, Dr. WHeasel. You're 2,000 years old.
Aye, yeah, but how do you know about that sort of... Oh, right. Trends allure time stream wibbly wobbliness. But what about the real surprise of the episode, Doctor? The return of... What's the noise? What? Who?
How? Can it be? No, Doctor. It's...
Yes, it's me, your old foe, the Ratster. I've escaped from the Time War by hopping over the fence when old Rassilon wasn't looking. So how come you're a time lady now? Come off second best in a chameleon arch reconfiguration bet? Can't a girl have a little change of appearance without everyone making comments? Oh, she's got new hair. Oh, she's got new clothes. Oh, she's now a totally different gender.
Dr. WHeasel, you can't let that woman stay in your TARDIS.
Well, I don't know if I've got much choice, Clara. I mean, now she's a lady. She surely won't be quite so evil or anything like that. Although... going on appearances, Missy seems as mad as a bag of old spanners, you ask me. You know, so I'm not that awful.
But time-travelling, death-defying, time-lock-escaping transgender lords aside, that revelation that Missy is the mistress, well, the master, that was a nice plot twist.
Aye, and it was a shame we couldn't have got a John Sims flashback regeneration or something into the mix. There's always part 2. Right, you two... I'm going to take Mr. Pink for an emotion scraping in my TARDIS. Why don't you two discuss which of you I get to kill with my laser death ray first? Doctor? Doctor? Help! Help! Doctor! Doctor!
Doctor! Doctor, what can we do?
There's only one thing we can do, Clara. Well, I can put a skirt on, but I don't think that will help. We can actually, though, hope against hope that Moffat writes a decent part 2 to this story. Or it looks like you and I are going to come to a sticky, or in your case, a squeaky end. Oh!